Hi, I'm Merlane,
I'm Kiana.
and we work for the Forest Service. We are very, very excited to be here and share with you information about the Resource Assistance Program, something that we think is pretty innovative. And I want to thank Government Executive and NextGov and the underwriters for this event, and for really allowing us to share and present this program. So today, one of our units in the Pacific Northwest region hosted a webinar, and the webinar was titled, "A Case for a Culturally Responsive Approach to Programming Engagement." The premise for the webinar is that the U.S. public is becoming increasingly racially and culturally diverse, yet visitation to national forests across the country remains a disproportionately white experience. They wanted to explore what forests could do to address this issue, and they facilitated a reflective look inward about our cultural biases, our programs, our practices, and our partners. And they asked us to consider ways that they might foster deeper connections between multicultural communities and forests. This was today at 12 o'clock. We didn't plan this, and we didn't find out about it until yesterday. So Kiana and I are a three-member team that provides national leadership for Forest Service citizen stewardship programs. These programs engage over 100,000, and we think that number is probably underestimated because reporting is not as rigorous as it should be. But 100,000 volunteers and service participants on hundreds of projects annually, and doing a variety of work assignments. Through volunteerism and service, we're uniquely positioned to facilitate experiences for citizens who want to work with us and to offer programming that expose underrepresented communities to our work and the economic and social benefits derived from public lands. So we're here today to talk about one of the 4 programs in our portfolio, the Resource Assistance Program. And we want to talk about this program because it's helping us change perceptions in the forest internally, as well as creating more opportunities externally for individuals who want to do this work, and oftentimes, and specifically individuals who don't look like the people who generally work for the Forest Service. Both Kiana and I bring diverse experiences to our work, and these experiences, we believe, have been really, have provided the foundation for the entrepreneurial and collaborative approach that we designed for RAP. Our personal and professional experiences likely influenced our ability to envision a hybrid approach to workforce development. We both value human development, and we both believe that the work that we do, whether it's personal, professional, mentoring, coaching, that we have a responsibility to develop the next generation, whether it is professionally or in their personal growth and development. That is a personal value. And I heard Victoria talk a little bit about how she shared your true self, and that when you do that, it really does allow you to think boldly. And that's, I attribute our ability to create this program within the Forest Service to us focusing and believing in who we are and sharing our true selves with our work and personally. We've been especially fortunate to serve where we were able to manifest our personal interests for the greater good in a professional setting. And the Forest Service was yet another opportunity to do that. So for those of you who don't know, the Forest Service is a multifaceted agency that manages and protects 154 national forests and grasslands in 43 states and Puerto Rico. This includes 193 million acres of public lands, and we also have sustainable stewardship of more than 600 million acres of forest land across the U.S. 400 million of those acres are private lands. The mission of the Forest Service has not changed in 113 years when it was officially organized under the U.S. Department of Agriculture. and it's listed up here, which is to sustain the health, diversity, and productivity of the nation's forests and grasslands to meet the needs of current and future generations, present and future generations. We augment our work through partnerships, because otherwise we couldn't get it done. And our partnerships allow us to engage the private sector, citizens, organizations, nonprofits, states, municipalities, local organizations to do all kinds of work. We work with others to do everything except law enforcement and union representation on the forest. So it is pretty broad. The Resource Assistance Program is one of our larger partnerships. As I noted at the beginning of this talk, the Forest Service is a very homogeneous organization. Our workforce, nor the users of the forest, are very diverse. About 80% of our workforce are white, 10% Hispanic, and Kiana and I are clearly not representative of the Forest Service workforce, but we, along with many others, believe that if America's public lands legacy is at risk, that if we do not change this paradigm of who is a part of the forest. So we're also a workforce in transition. Between now and 2022, about 30% of our workforce will be eligible to retire. And being a workforce in transition, a threatened public lands legacy, not to mention declining federal, discretionary federal resources. These are significant challenges, but also an opportunity, and an opportunity to act boldly. So shared stewardship, because of those factors, is increasingly becoming a top priority for the Forest Service. The stage was set, the time was right, and the Forest Service was probably a little bit more ready to try something new and different. And trust me, it hasn't been easy. I mean, they have not everyone was quick to embrace this program. Although we had the authority to operate a resource assistance program in 2005, we didn't implement that or exercise that authority until 2016. And the only reason we did then was because we stumbled over it. We didn't know we had it. We were trying to expand some other programs and opportunities for young people, and come to find out, lo and behold, we read the legislation and resource assistance program. So that was the opportunity. And I think that what it taught us is that there's probably lots of other opportunities that many of us just are not aware of in our organizations and agencies that we need to take advantage of. So this authority is also available to the Department of Interior, and they operate these programs out of 4 of their agencies as well. So this is the RAP, we call Resource Assistance Program the RAP. It's a unique authority because it allows us to recruit emerging professionals and others interested in environmental stewardship work. And it provides a pathway to permanent employment, which I'm sure many of you already know, getting access to a federal job is really, really difficult. And this is one way to do that. So Kiana's going to talk a little bit more about how we do it.
Thanks, Marlene. And it's all about the approach, the innovation that exists. If you think about your workforce development programs, this is not new. Workforce development programs have been in existence for many years. I started out in the federal government in a workforce development-based program. It's the innovation in this program to me that makes sense. These are paid opportunities. That's the first thing. That we remove some of the nuances and the challenges that might exist with engaging in an internship or fellowship type program. Health coverage is included. That's a huge piece that's helpful for this workforce development program. Housing and some of the other nuances. And so if you think about these emerging leaders come to the Forest Service, they engage in 960 hours of satisfactory work. That's about 6 months. And they also need to acquire education requirements at least an associate's degree. So once they acquire those 2 things, they then gain that hiring authority that Marlene mentioned. But I think it's the approach that's the most innovative. It's that entrepreneurship model that we've developed with this program. We have 9 partners. As Marlene mentioned, it's that stewardship, that shared stewardship. We're working with 9 external partners to help us to unfold this program in an innovative way. For example, those partners bring with them their resources, they bring with them their elements for onboarding, their models, their access to communities. For example, we work with Salish Kootenai College. we would not be able to access the Native American community as we're doing without that relationship. And so they bring with them, and they also bring with them a 25% match, which is that corporate model helping us to leverage the dollars of the Forest Service. So how it works, the Forest Service comes up with the idea. We come up with, and they're emerging ideas. You know, if you think about hiring, how long does it take to hire someone in the federal government? Oh, I hear a lot, 9 months. So a lot of people ask me, how long does it take? And I'm like, when are you ready to start? And so that's the innovation that we love about this program, because it's innovation right at your fingertips, and you can see it happening immediately. The Forest Service, like I said, brings the money, the funding 75%. The partner brings a 25% match in their onboarding resources. They bring their training modules, and they also bring relationships. Also important to this program is skills-based development and leadership. It's looking at the skills that you need to succeed in the Forest Service. We have 2 resource assistants in the room right now who are gaining skills, learning how to manage conflict, how to work with each other, how to do leadership, communication, and they're gaining the skills to be transferable in Forest Service positions. And then it's that hiring pathway that's important as well. There's a guaranteed access to be able to apply for positions as a part of this program. Now, that doesn't mean that you automatically receive a position. You have guaranteed access to apply. That's a piece that brings a pathway to us is important as a part of this program, and it's lucrative. People love it. And it's also a continuous improvement piece. When I came in, Marlene said, I need you to do a program review. Evaluate this program. Tell me where we need to make some changes, where we need to expand it. And that's what we did. We did focus groups, surveys, models, and asked the questions. Folks were candid and told us where we needed to bring some more development, and that's what we've been doing. I want to share with you 2 resource assistants and share their stories and let them speak to you. Michaela is a 26-year-old student. She just graduated from University of Georgia. She's a part of our program, and I want you to hear from her. She's from the inner city. She's never really been to a forest. I want you to hear what she has to say about her experience.
And seeing different things and learning about these different plants and, learning about these different bugs, because that was my biggest fear too, bugs. I don't do bugs. But now I'm like, I want to jump in creeks and find the microinvertebrates and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was a big change. It was a big culture shock, but I love it. Like, I love being outside now. It's a different world outside.
I love it. It's a different world. And again, through her direct experience in this program, we're developing the next generation of conservation stewards and giving them just a small glimpse and leading them to another career of engagement. I want to also introduce you to one of our resource assistants. Next slide. Mitzi. Mitzi is a middle-level professional. She's had a career teaching ag education, and so she decided in the middle of her trajectory that she wanted to gain new skills and think about how she could apply herself in a different way in this program. So let's hear from Mitzi.
It has been such an experience, and I tell people about it that are in their careers and they hate it. They're absolutely miserable. I'm like, I was able to take an intern position, and you think of interns, you think of 20-year-olds, and it's just been an amazing experience to be able to get this and to get, I wish I would have done this when I was younger. I wish I would have known about it when I was younger. So now it's really important when we go to career fairs to educate people how to get involved in these type of intern programs.
Awesome. The 2 of them together, they work together, they learn about each other, they learn about themselves, and actually I just received news. Michaela was hired as a Forest Service employee last week. She is now a grants management specialist after 6 months being engaged in that program. That's huge. It doesn't happen that way. I'll ask a question quickly. How many Michaelas and Mitzis do you think there exist in 2 years? 20? 30? Come on. 63? 445 resource assistants have been engaged in 2 years through our relationships with nonprofits. Through that experience, the idea took off. Why? Because it was emerging, it was something new. It gave us an opportunity to think about innovative situations that people needed capacity for immediately. I need a neuroscientist in hurricane management or whatever, I don't know. We were able to create the ideas and get capacity in immediately. So again, 188 full-time equivalency, and you can see the rest of the demographics there. Also in 2 years, we've had 16 permanent hires. That number isn't large and huge, but if you think about a hiring freeze, if you think about the administration change and how long it gets people hired, we're excited about that number. We've also had one professional meeting where we brought all resource assistants together to Washington, D.C. We had over 150 resource assistants join us.
So, Kiana, thank you for that. I mean, I hope that you really get a sense for why this program is important for the forest, because it is nimble, you don't have to wait, and you can order essentially what you need by working with partners. So it's still very much a work in progress. It's helping the Forest Service shift perceptions about our partners' contributions to our mission and their ability to effectively recruit high-quality talent. But most importantly, it's helping us redefine expectations about the value added of diverse perspectives and engagement for the future conservation and health of our public lands. As we grow the RAP, we continue to refine it. We have some challenges that we need to address. As Kiana noted, our participants can apply for jobs as if they're Forest Service employees, but our DOI partners, they have direct hire authority. We don't have that yet. I'm sorry. We don't have that yet. And that's one thing that will make a really big difference in our ability to bring on some of these young people. The other challenge we have is that because it's a partnership, the partner is responsible for all of the benefits, workers' compensation, liability insurance, health care, and we can help fund that, but oftentimes it's hard to purchase those types of insurance and support for participants. So we need to find a way to manage that so that our partners can be better supported in providing this service, because these young people are working, they're on forest, they're supervised by us, they're managed by us, but we don't provide any of that coverage for them. Kiana's going to talk about a couple of challenges, and then we're going to wrap it up, because I think we're over time.
Yes, definitely. One of the things we're working on is our development of community. We've realized that we didn't expect this program to grow this quickly. We were going to do some changes incrementally. We don't have that opportunity now, 445 people. So now we're working with engaging the supervisors, that relationship, making sure they know how to mentor and engage and train someone. We're also looking at how do you get the resources. You wouldn't imagine how long it took us to get a Facebook group. It took us over 8 months to get a Facebook group for these folks. And so we're developing the resources, the community, and also just making sure that we can share how this program works and how to do it effectively and efficiently.
So we're making a difference, we think, and hopefully it'll give you some food for thought. So are there some authorities, are there some opportunities that you have in your agencies and with your programs to do something different and outside of the box that will will allow your staff and others to access these kind of support that helps you redefine your workforce? Thank you.
Thank you.